lest you get beat up, bullied, and tongue-torn. We gon' leave you beat up, bullied, and tongue-torn. We said we only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas, lest you get beat up, bullied, and tongue-torn. We gon' leave you beat up, bullied, and tongue-torn. We said we only rock with Mavericks. If you a clone, then step off the canvas.
Hello and welcome to episode 3, season 20 of the Box Score. Coming up, we've got news on the Giants head coaching situation, the third installment of our Cam's Called It segment, and so much more. But first things first, the NFL MVP race is heating up, and our correspondents are ready to plead their case for who they think should win it. Joining me at the desk is Zack Jewel, Titus Graves, Camila Mancur, and Everest Leach. Zack, I want to start with you. Who do you have as your MVP favorite?
You know, Noah, I have the Patriots quarterback, Drake May.
Ooh. Drake May.
He's played well.
He's played amazing. I mean, he has the Patriots at the top of the AFC at 9-2. He's first in passing yards, first in completion percentage, first in QBR. I mean, those are three of probably the most important stats in a quarterback.
Yeah.
Third in touchdowns, 20 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And I think he's the clear-cut best quarterback in the AFC. And we're
AFC?
in the AFC. Because we're talking
Like
about
period this year?
Period this year right now, which is why he's the MVP. I think we're talking about MVP possibilities. Like you have the Mahomes, the Allen, the Lamar Jackson, not this year obviously, the Stafford, whatever. Drake May's the best quarterback in the NFL.
Wow.
In the NFL.
You think he's the best quarterback in the NFL?
He's the MVP, which is why he's the best quarterback in the NFL.
All right, so
That's a
you're
hot
saying you're saying he's the best in the AFC. Now we're
yeah,
I think that the AFC, I think the quarterback situation in the AFC.
A little too far.
I think the quarterbacks in the AFC are stronger than the NFC, which is why I think it's more impressive to be the best quarterback in the AFC than the NFC.
So he's been better than Patrick Mahomes.
Correct.
He's better than...
I don't think he's been better than Stafford. I don't know if he'll finish the season better than a guy like Mahomes, Josh Allen.
I mean, we'll
he's
see.
played really well.
Who's he throwing the ball to?
Yes. And
A 31-year-old Stephon Diggs, a guy that doesn't wear...
has played above their pay grade this season. That's what I'll say, though. Those receivers have played well, even though they're not big names.
And again, 9-2. The record, like, if you want to call wins a QB stat, which I know some of us on here might, 9-2 is a ridiculous record, especially for a team that had low expectations heading into the season.
That's true. That's true.
All right, Titus, you have a different name for us.
Yeah, I actually have a QB in the NFC. I have Matthew Stafford.
Okay. He's the clear-cut favorite.
Yeah, I mean, they're 8-2. He's leading the Rams on a wonderful season. He's leading the NFL in TD passing, touchdown passes. He has 25. That's like a big number. Being 37 years old in the NFL right now, he's a dog, man. Hey, shout out UGA. He is a UGA dog out there.
So like, let me make the argument that if you put Joe Flacco on the Rams right now, is he putting up the same kind of numbers?
I mean, probably, but not
No.
really.
No.
Not
No.
really.
I wouldn't say
no.
probably.
I mean, that's like a low amount, but like, I don't know.
Maybe
I feel like Matthew
production-
Stafford is a better QB than Joe, though.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure.
And he's showing that right now. He's an all-time great. I mean, you look at these highlights out here, he could throw it dimes. He knows how to throw it. He knows how to
Look at that.
do a side arms. He knows how to throw it deep, tight windows. Just tell me something that Matthew Stafford can't do. Crickets, thank you. And the only thing I know that he probably can't do is probably like run out the pocket, but like that offensive line is like really great. And I got Matthew Stafford winning MVP.
All right.
It's a good pick.
Camila,
Yes.
you have a non-QB. You're the only person on the panel not to have picked a quarterback.
Yeah. So Jonathan Taylor, that's what I got for you guys.
That's what I like to hear.
Okay.
This is
It's not gonna happen.
Hold on.
Here's why it should
Let her
happen.
cook.
Let her cook.
More points than every kicker in the NFL is
Whoa.
an insane stat. You have leading rushing yards, TDs, carries, yards per carry, and first downs, which is insane.
And it's led the Indianapolis Colts to a great record, too.
Exactly. This is the reason why the Colts are so successful this year, because the pass game is opening up just because of the fact that he is a threat
Sure.
as a running back, okay? He hasn't even fumbled once.
Right, and for how many carries has he had? A ton, right?
A ton. He's leading in carries in the NFL. So this
is
just like,
ridiculous.
if he wins, it just shows that it should not be an MVP. The MVP award should not be a QB award.
Okay,
That's
so
what I think.
Zach, as our resident Indianapolis hater, what's your counter to this? Because the stats back her up. I need something else
There's
other
just
than it's a
historical-
QB.
That's
What
the
it
thing.
is.
The-
And
it's
it sucks
But
that
it shouldn't be though.
Everyone
if you
that's-
want to make it a
You can make
QB
that
award,
case, but-
then they should just call it the QB award.
It's a QB award,
I agree.
unfortunately,
I agree
and
with
Jonathan Taylor's obviously having a great
Yeah.
season.
He's having one of the
is
best
doing
seasons
great.
of running
even
back of all time.
as an Indianapolis Colts hater myself, it's more of a Daniel Jones thing. Like you said, Jonathan Taylor is opening
Yeah.
up the pass game, so
Yeah.
I can't argue with that. However, like I've been saying, it's quarterback award. I just don't see how running back.
All right,
Shouldn't be.
we're going to move to our final contender, and you've got a little bit of a controversial one as well, still a quarterback.
Yeah.
But who do you have?
I've got a quarterback, and you guys made some very good arguments based on stuff that has already happened this year. I'm going to make an argument based off what I think is going to happen the rest of the year, and that is Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback in the league still, is going to turn on the Jets and get the Chiefs to the playoffs and win MVP. Here's the thing. The Chiefs are sitting at 5-5 right now, but Patrick Mahomes has the numbers. He just needs the wins to come. Their schedule clears up a little bit. And
Like he's not gonna get the win.
Yeah,
I
you need to
think
make. You
he's
can't. You got to make the
No,
playoffs.
but
if
that's
you want to
the
win
last
the
time-
MVP.
the last time Patrick Mahomes was doubted this much was after the 2021 season where he loses the Super Bowl, gets blown out, and loses Tyreek Hill. What does he do? How does he respond? Wins MVP, wins the Super Bowl, wins Super Bowl MVP.
But we're
he's
10
not
games.
on
I'd rather
that level
put
right
Drake
now.
And
May.
Everest,
I'd rather put Drake
we're
May
10
over
games
Patrick
into
right
the
now.
season. They are 5-5, third in the division, right now out of the playoff race.
Yeah.
How is an MVP going to turn up? You're looking at a guy that's probably
Win
going to
the
have to win
rest of the
out.
game.
They're
He's
in
going to
a
have to
tough
win
division
out.
the rest
too.
of the game.
He's trying to predict the future right now, and we're standing on what's going on right now. It's literally about to be week 12, and I just think Matthew Stafford's been on a roll. He hasn't
I
literally
agree. I love
through
Stafford. I think he played
interceptions
great
in the
this
last 6
But I'm going to
games.
rely on the
That's
best quarterback
MVP
from
level.
the past several years to come.
Okay,
All right.
Chris Collinsworth.
Oh, Chris Collinsworth is crazy. What an insult. Anyway,
Don't do me like that.
we're going to keep a close eye on any developments as we head into the closing stretch of the regular season. Now, switching gears, while the season may have ended, there's still plenty of news coming out of Major League Baseball. Last episode, we covered the huge NBA betting scandal, and tonight I'm joined by Rico Brill and Camila Mancur to give you all the details on the next major betting scandal in sports. Guys?
Thank you, Noah. So we're going to be talking about the MLB betting scandal, which I'm sure some of you guys have heard about. Huge, huge news for the MLB. Rico, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, so last week we had a scandal in the NBA. Now it goes over to baseball. This is something we did know about, as the MLB and the teams did put these players in Luis Ortiz and Emmanuel Clase on leave during the season, but now they have officially been arrested. The
charges they're facing are very, very bad.
very, very over
money,
60 years.
Money laundering,
Yeah.
conspiracy, wire
So
fraud. It's bad.
There's apparently there's been over $400,000 in wages bet,
Wow.
and what they were doing was Clase as a pitcher, he obviously can control if he throws a strike or a ball. So they were betting every single time on a first pitch ball. Essentially, he would throw the ball, the first pitch of the game, into the dirt, and he was betting on that prop bet. So the MLB has responded. They've made it a $200 maximum on prop bets now. I don't think that's going to make a huge difference.
No.
And I think this is worse than the NBA scandal because this is a
I
player
agree.
betting on their own performance.
No, I completely agree with you, and it's a conversation that has to be had about why are these people doing this? Because, these are two very good pitchers. So, Clase, all-star pitcher, he was going to get a guaranteed $64 million next year. So why is he risking his career and just his integrity and his freedom just because he's getting a few extra $1,000s out of this? We got to start having these conversations because it's a thing that's not just in the MLB, it's in other leagues as well.
I think it's a sports culture thing at this point. Sports betting is such a big part of any sports fan at this point, and that does carry over to the players. You go to any commercial, you're seeing gambling being advertised, so it becomes they're all so competitive as athletes. A lot of the time, I think they just can't get out of their own competitive nature and try to be able to game the system like that. And you're doing it they're saying this was happening for a few years with Class A. I kind of
Like
do understand why
2023,
it's happening, not to defend it, but this is something we're seeing more and more often. We saw it in the NBA earlier with Porter too, betting on himself a few seasons ago. So it's clearly an issue in the culture of sports and something that needs to be addressed directly. I think they've done a good job initially trying to limit the prop betting, because prop betting is where you can really exploit and bet on yourself. But I don't know. What do you think the solution can be for this?
Well, I think, like you said, there's got to be something that the league's got to do about it. Harsher bans. Porter, like you said, in the NBA, he got banned for life from the NBA. Maybe that's going to have to be the case for
I
these
think
guys
you bet
too.
on yourself.
Yeah, because that's it's just messing with the system in general. So maybe we got to put harsher bans or just do something about the rules so that these players are not enticed to participate in these things. But
Yeah.
that's all we got for you.
That's all we have here. Back to you at the deck, Noah.
Rico, Camila, thank you for your analysis. We'll keep you updated on any developments in the coming days. But heading to the hardwood, the Dallas Mavericks made the decision to part ways with general manager Nico Harrison, the man who orchestrated the Luka Doncic trade last season. With me to discuss what comes next for the Mavs and the legacy Harrison will leave behind is Zack Jewel, Titus Graves, and Olivia Holub. Zach, how should Mavs fans be feeling?
I think they should be thankful that Nico Harrison's out. Now, I don't think the trade is a complete failure yet.
Why?
And I know I'm gonna get some backlash, okay?
Okay.
Bro.
But can we sit here and say the trade's a fail without seeing Kyrie, Anthony Davis, and Cooper Flag playing together?
Yes.
Why?
You don't even
But
know.
exactly, they should be playing together.
You don't even know when Kyrie's coming back.
Next
You don't
year,
know
okay?
about AD and his injury that always happens every season. AD is not the same guy as he was when he was in the
I'll
Pelicans,
agree
when he was
with you
the
on that.
Lakers, and you just can't wait. They're 4-11, bro. It's literally
I don't
November.
think this wasn't the year for it. It's next year when we have Cooper Flag in his second year, you have Kyrie back, and potentially have a healthy Anthony Davis. I know it's potentially hypothetical stuff like that, but my opinion is that if you have a starting lineup with Kyrie, Max Christie, Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively, you're not a bad team. Like I think you're a pretty good team.
But are you better with Luka Doncic?
For sure.
Yes.
Well, for sure.
Yes.
He,
If you
Luka's
don't
put
have
up
Luka,
bad
you don't.
numbers.
If you have Luka, you don't have Cooper Flag, and you don't have Anthony Davis. I think.
How long
But
do you
they
have
were
Anthony Davis
winning.
for?
They were winning. They literally was the Western Conference Finals,
they were
and they made it to the
winning.
NBA. Like, Luka was that playmaker. I actually have a stat here. Like, the offense literally is last in offensive rating in the NBA right now. Luka was on that team right now, they wouldn't be last. Everybody knows that right now.
Okay.
Luka was that guy.
What do you quantify as like a successful trade? Like they would have to win a championship, correct?
Yes, they
Okay.
almost did.
Or get closer
So
to it.
if the Lakers don't win a championship, and the Mavs don't win a championship with these new rosters, who loses the trade?
The Mavs.
The Mavs still.
Why?
Because you've traded your franchise cornerstone.
Yeah.
He wanted to retire there. He was going to have a statue there.
Bought a
Yes.
house.
I'll
like,
go with the argument that he was out of shape and he should have gave up the things that the general manager Nico Harrison was asking him to give up, which he wasn't. He wasn't working out with Nico Harrison. Now, do I think Nico Harrison should have done something about it before just trading him, because he completely did ruin that fan base? I think I'm not going to sit here and argue and say that. I think Nico Harrison did lose the trade himself. I don't know if I can sit here and say that the Mavs lost yet.
Okay.
But
I think the Mavs lost.
Okay,
like
but
the
so, like-
Lakers clearly won this trade because they weren't trading away their franchise player. Like AD, older, injury prone. Like the Mavs lost this. They got a guy who's hurt and old. Like there's no way the Mavs could win this.
And so, Olivia, I do want to ask you, because we're talking about the legacy of Nico Harrison now. He will go down. I mean, that night on NBA Twitter was one of the most unbelievable nights in online history, really, especially for sports culture. What is Nico Harrison going to be remembered for as the general manager of the Mavericks?
Making a bad trade. Like that was all that was talked about. This is the only thing he can be known for, because he ruined the Mavs. Sure, they get the number 1 pick, but they're not playing great right now either. Their team isn't together, and you traded for a old injury prone player. Like you didn't. This is what you're known for.
Right, and then Titus, you?
Yeah, I agree. They have Cooper Flag playing as point guard right now. I don't agree with that. And then they also just have AD who's injured, and they also have D'Lo. That I don't think he should be on this team. I literally saw a highlight of him literally dribbling the ball 22 seconds and literally gave the ball up. Like, what are you doing, bro?
This team would have been elite in 2020.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I just don't think Dallas Mavericks, this is not their year. I mean, Kyrie, maybe when you come back, I know he's a great player, but you can't wait until that happens.
All right. Thank you, guys. We're going to head to our first quick commercial break. But stay right there. You're going to get to hear from our former host, Brian Danoff, and we'll be talking about the current Heisman race. Stay tuned.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Danoff. I was the host of seasons 4 and 5 of the Box Score. I got my start way back on season 2. I was a freshman in the fall of 2016. You know, even as a freshman, I mean, Harris, you know, gave me opportunities, gave a lot of freshmen opportunities to come on the show, to you know, debate and give their opinions. And it was just a really welcoming, positive environment. And that was something that really stuck with me. You know, season 4, they needed a new host, and I was going to put my hat in the ring and see what happened. And luckily, gratefully, you know, they chose me to take over the show, and it was truly just an awesome time for the couple seasons I hosted it. It was just a blast. It really was.
Stand by, 20 seconds. Ready VTRA. Ready to roll A, ready to track A.
15 seconds.
Stand by to punch your music, stand by to cue talent.
10, 9, 8.
Stand by in the
7,
studio.
6, 5.
Here we go.
4, 3.
Roll
2,
A, track
1.
A, music and tape.
I am John Stewart, and you're watching EIV.
You're watching Channel 8 Television, WEIV TV, Boston.
You're watching EIV News.
Hi, this is Stephen Wright, and you're watching EIV.
Hi, my name is Dennis Leary, and you're watching EIV, the only source for
Emerson News.
Emerson News.
Welcome back to the Box Score. We've got a live score update around the NBA for you. Currently, Celtics beating the Nets 34-33. It's early in that one, but we've got to talk about the Nets later tonight. The Grizzlies are up 8-0 against the Spurs early on. Magic currently beating the Warriors 67-60, and the Pistons are beating the Hawks 44-31. Rico is doing the 6-7 next to me already.
Off camera.
Listen, it is what it is. Magic 67, Warriors 60, Pistons 44, Hawks 31. We'll keep you in the loop as those games go on. But before that, we have to talk about the first domino to fall in the current New York Giants regime. Head coach Brian Daboll was just fired, but general manager Joe Schoen keeps his job for now. Our resident Giants fan Rico Brill and our resident Giants hater Everest Leach are with me to discuss the fallout and what comes next. Everest, as the hater, let's start with you.
I mean, you can't hate on like a sick child. You know, it's not like I wouldn't really classify myself as a Giant hater. Anyways, I think you had to fire Daboll, even though I think there's some things he does that are good. I think he's a good offensive mind. I think he has an eye for quarterback talent, but he didn't win. You have to win in this league. Clearly wasn't working out. I think he has to go at one point or another. I do think keeping Joe Schoen is unacceptable in this situation. I mean, what has Schoen done that's worthy of keeping this job? He hasn't hit on mid-round draft picks throughout his entire career. He let Saquon Barkley walk to a division rival who then won the Super Bowl that very next year. And it's not like Joe Schoen is in a little bit of a rut, at least to me, when previously in his career he's just been like the head guy at countless winning organizations. I mean, he's gone from the Panthers to the Dolphins to the Bills early in the Josh Allen case. Like, that's not he doesn't have this huge, like, resume built up. So I don't understand keeping him. I think it screws the timelines, the loyalties, divisions. Like, the Lions did this when they cleared house. They brought in coach and GM, Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell.
Yes.
Look how it's worked out for them. I think that's what the Giants should have done.
So I guess what the Giants front office and ownership is hanging their hat on right now is the fact that Joe Schoen had a great draft cycle this past year.
Sure.
Abdul Carter, Jackson Dart. Rico, you agree with Everest, though, that Joe Schoen probably should have gone as
Absolutely.
well.
I agree with pretty much everything that Everest said. I mean, you said Daboll didn't do the job winning. He did in his first season.
Yeah. Right.
They won the playoff game, and as a Giants fan, that was the best time I've had in recent memory. But it just came way too early. He won Coach of the Year in his first year, and since then just hasn't gotten the job done. I think with the games that you lose this year, blowing so many leads that seem unlosable, you had to fire someone. As a fan, you need a scapegoat. You need someone to go with. But you, as a fan, you also want everyone gone. Right now, after what Schoen did, I understand, like, you still want to give him a chance with these players that he drafted to really see if it plays out. He hasn't been here for a ton of time. But time and time again, he's busted. He's drafted Evan Neal, who's been horrible in the first round. Deontay Banks, unplayable right now.
Right.
Gets cooked every single game. And he's a first-round pick.
Yeah.
There are some good picks. Like you hit on Scottaboo late round this year, Neighbors last year, but these are Neighbors is a given pick. Abdul Carter, he hasn't even been incredible on the stat sheet. He's been impactful. Another no-brainer pick. Anyone would have made that pick.
Right.
I think
my grandma would have picked Abdul Carter.
Absolutely. And you mentioned
your grandma,
the sick child. You mentioned the Giants being a sick child. I couldn't agree more. We over the past few years just don't win. We disappoint every year. It's the hardest team to be a fan of, and it needs to be completely reset.
Listen,
I agree.
For both of my Giants fan parents and for my Giant fan colleague, there is a team who plays in the exact same stadium that you can come to with a great new head coach named Aaron Glenn. They're the New York Jets, historic franchise. You know, Super Bowl III, Joe Namath.
Jury's still out on Aaron Glenn.
Listen.
Yeah, I wouldn't say great.
Well, all right. No Jets
Might
hate.
be a little premature.
We have to hate on one of my teams later in the show. Calm down.
They're another sibling who also happens to be sick of the sick child that is the Giants.
This is ridiculous. Listen, thank you guys. In the world of hockey, goalkeeper Carter Hart just signed a 2-year, $4 million contract with the Vegas Golden Knights. For those unaware, Hart is the first of 5 Canadian World Junior hockey players to sign an NHL contract following their acquittal in a major sexual assault case. With me to delve into the background and ramifications is Cam Veal. Cam, can you give me a little more info?
Yeah, of course. And just for viewers at home, like disclaimer, we're going to go over some sensitive topics. But basically, Carter Hart was one of 5 players from the 2018 Canadian World Juniors team that was accused of sexual assault and then acquitted in June of this year. And when the story broke, the NHL suspended all of these players. Carter Hart was suspended in 2022, a little bit before, for external reasons. And then upon acquittal, the NHL said that they couldn't sign with the team until October 15th or play in games before December 6th because this is what the NHL said, that the conduct of the players did not meet NHL standards. And that was all fine and dandy, I suppose, in the time. But then recently on October 17th of 2025, the Vegas Golden Knights announced that they were signing Carter Hart when their second-choice backup goaltender was injured and they needed to fill the hole. And a lot of people were very unhappy with that decision. And I did a little bit of firsthand research into Instagram comments, and I would say a good 80% of them were very unhappy with the direction of the Golden Knights because while he was acquitted and was not found criminally liable, based on what the NHL said, the conduct did not match standards, and the conduct was not something you want to see as a role model playing for a very public hockey team. And in that case, also, Hockey Canada reached a settlement with the alleged victim. But then also, this is something that I found very interesting, they started a fund for similar legal battles, similar allegations.
Interesting.
And I think that says a lot about hockey culture in general, that Hockey Canada had to start a fund for future allegations. And I think this goes into a lot of that hockey culture has a bit of a problem and about a bit of an image issue
That's what I was about to ask you is what are the ramifications of a case like this for NHL and international hockey? Because I know you're starting to get into it, but the hockey culture, whether it's the fans or whether it's the league, is not holding these players accountable.
No, I think that's the main issue, is that the players aren't being held accountable. And imagine what the message this sends to young hockey fans, boys and girls alike, that this is the kind of role model you're going to see on a hockey team. This is the kind of person that, if whether or not they committed an alleged crime or not, but the fact that they were accused, and then there was a lot of evidence that shows the NHL themselves said that their conduct was not acceptable, that they can get away without a slap on the wrist, basically. And I feel like it says a lot that we might have to do a lot of changing as hockey fans on the inside out. Especially as a female hockey fan myself, I find this kind of like very off-putting, and I was never going to be a Golden Knights fan, but now I'm going to stay like away with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit discouraging, especially when you have leagues like the PWHL coming out with a lot of like female support, and then I think it's just a bad look all around. And it's something that I feel like is going to take a while for hockey itself to wrap its head around. And with the Olympics coming up, I think it's a really good time for Hockey Canada and like all the other governing bodies to address this and sort of move forward with a little bit more acknowledgement and accountability.
Cam Veal, thank you so much for your research and for your time. We're going to swing over to the Triple Monitor now, where we have the return of our Heisman Mount Everest. Everest?
Thank you so much, Noah. We are back with another installment of Mount Everest. Each week that passes, we hurdle closer and closer to a Heisman Trophy winner being named. Let's take a look at who's throwing their name in the hat, who's climbing the mountain. At the bottom, we've got the quarterback, Ty Simpson from Alabama. All quarterbacks in our top 4 this week. That's just kind of how it goes. Usually, unless there's a real superstar for another position, you're going to get quarterbacks. Ty Simpson is a guy who's been slipping down the mountain a little bit, struggling to find some footing, lost this past weekend to Oklahoma. Now that said, he still has really good numbers, 22 touchdowns to only 2 interceptions. He's a phenomenal processor. I think this guy's super smart. He just doesn't have the accuracy that you'd want in some of these big moments, but he still deserves a mention. We're going to move up over to the right here. We've got Marcel Reed at Texas A&M. I'm a big fan of this guy. He is a stupendous athlete. I mean, just a dual threat, has 6 touchdowns on the ground to go with 22 passing touchdowns to 8 interceptions. Texas A&M has been great this year, and they just had a huge comeback. We're down 30-3 against South Carolina, came back to win it. Marcel Reed, big part of that. I mean, just a great player. I'm glad he's getting some recognition. I think he's 3rd in odds now. He should stay there. We're going to move on now to Julian Sayin of Ohio State. My number 2, Julian Sayin's the guy who, you're knocking on wood, you're not wishing any ill will on anybody, but you're kind of hoping the guy ahead of you, the guy in that spot, has a falling out, something happens because you want to take that. That's what's going on with Julian Sayin. There's one guy ahead of him, but I don't want to discredit anything he's doing. He's been phenomenal this year at Ohio State as only a sophomore. So really impressive. He's number 1 in the country in rating and number 1 in completion percentage from a guy that young. It's pretty incredible, and I can't say enough about him, even though I grew up in a family that hates Ohio State. So sorry, Dad, their quarterback's pretty good. He's been playing pretty well this season. But he has not been playing better, in my estimation, than Fernando Mendoza, who for the 2nd Mount Everest segment in a row stands atop. This guy at Indiana has just been unbelievable. He's the front runner for a reason. Look at that Penn State game where he has to come back. He has to have the drive. He goes down the field and he makes the game-winning play. Obviously a phenomenal catch, but 30 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. And the craziest part about it all, Indiana is ranked number 72 in the college football talent composite, meaning you take all of the 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, the talent on paper that a team should have, you average it out. Indiana is 72. Alabama all the way at the top. Ohio State all the way at the top. Mendoza is doing more with less. He's been great all season, and barring any, fatal faults here at the end, fatal missteps, I think he's going to host that Heisman Trophy. That's all I have for this edition of Mount Everest. Back to you, Noah.
Everest, thank you very much. I'm hoping that the Jets end up getting Fernando Mendoza, but it looks like we're just a little too good in comparison to some of the other teams. I hope we keep losing. But going from the college to the pros, the league's best are beginning to separate themselves at the top. But which team is the team to beat? With me to debate is Zack Jewel, Titus Graves, and Camila Mancur. Let's start with the Lions.
Noah, I know they just lost to the Eagles. I got it. I understand it. However, they have been a top 3 offense the last 3 years, right? Potentially top 1. They're the only team in the entire NFL with a top 5 defense and a top 5 offense from passing yards or yards per game standard, okay? There's no other team that is even statistically close to that. So I feel like for you to be the best, you got to beat the team that is the best statistically on offense and defense. Now, Titus, you're looking at me like I'm insane.
Yes, because what? Bro, that's literally the team that I have right now is the Rams.
Okay.
Los Angeles Rams. And let me clarify that for you. Top 5, what? They're got to be top 5 in offense for sure. And defense, I don't know statistically. I don't have research on that, but I feel like they deserve to be at least top 10 in the NFL right now. But with the offense, let's just keep it straight up. They got Matthew Stafford that I just talked about that's playing out of his mind right now. They got Devontae Adams. They got Puka Nacua. They got Kyron Williams. That's crazy on that offense, and they know how to spread the field, and that's just what defense doesn't like. Like, the Rams have that. They know how to move the ball down the field. The defense is fast. They force key turnovers. They actually are leading the NFL right now with 27 sacks so far. That's crazy.
So you're saying that the Rams are the team to beat. They're the front runner right now.
Yes.
I don't even.
I don't agree.
I'm with Camila here. I don't think that we're talking about the Rams who they won a playoff game last year. I get it. I know the Lions lost to the Commanders last year in the playoffs. But I want to see a little more proven success. It's not the same team that won the Super Bowl.
Proven? I mean,
what? They still
same quarterback.
It's the
same quarterback, same coach. Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, who
Aaron Donald. Like we're talking.
Okay, but I just mentioned the 27 sacks. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's without Aaron Donald.
Jared Verse.
They just had 4 interceptions.
I didn't
against
say
Seattle.
they were a bad team. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're the team to beat.
So why are the Lions the team to beat? They're the Super Bowl favorites.
I mean, I think that we're looking at when you think of like good NFL teams for the last like 3 years. You think about the Lions being statistically at the top all 3 of those years, right? Okay. I don't know if I'm putting the Rams statistically or just with the eye test at the top of the top like the Lions. When you watch the Lions play, that's a good football team, a great football team. When I watch the Rams play, not just this year. This year I think they're a great football team. I don't think they're a team to beat. However, when I watch them for other years, I don't consider them a great football team.
All right, Camila, you have a third team.
I was going to say, we got to talk about the elephant in the room, guys. The proven success. The Eagles, the defending champs.
Man, hot take.
Hot take. They are favorites to win. I wonder why. Well, I know they haven't been the best on offense this year. And
no, they've actually been
pitiful,
very bad.
Very bad, and I know that. But in my opinion, it's just because they're getting used to the new offense. You know, you change defensive coordinators.
That's true.
It's fine.
And it's not like they don't have the talent on offense.
That's what I was going to say. You have Jalen Hurts, which, okay, we've talked about this before on the show. Maybe he doesn't throw it that much, but just because he doesn't throw it that much doesn't mean he can't. We've seen games where he's
I mean, we're watching him score right now.
Exactly. You see it, you know.
Talented
the
player,
tush
right?
push.
Talented
you know, he's a very talented player. He gets a lot of yards when necessary, and he's receivers, man. Like, I mean, you have that receiver pair.
And A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, yeah.
Yeah, Smith, just crazy. You have Saquon anytime you need him. Like, they show up when they need to show up.
I guess the thing that makes them the team to beat, in your opinion, is the fact that they've got all this proven success.
Exactly.
They've won. They're coming off of a Super Bowl. They've won 2 Super Bowls in recent memory, and they're still a great team.
And they have the best red zone offense, which is very important in clutch time.
Okay, but can I ask, why do they have the best red zone offense, Camila? Why would they have the best red zone offense?
Perhaps because they're the only team able to execute the tush push.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into this right now.
I don't think I can.
Are we talking tush push?
Work for them.
No,
Are we talking
I don't think
I don't think we
Let's just keep it as red
So
zone.
you're saying the Eagles are the front runner to win the Super Bowl? If the season ended today, they're your pick?
Yes.
You're saying the Lions are your pick?
Yeah, I think the Bears are frauds. I think they win their division, and Lions win the Super Bowl.
Wow. And okay.
And I just got the Rams, bro. They've been crazy on offense and then performing well on defense, as I mentioned. Like, what else is there to beat? Like, what else is there to do?
Special teams?
What? I mean, they're
three parts
great.
of the game.
Just tackle, you know, that's all you got to do, and just give it to Matthew Stafford when he's on the line. And then we worry about defense. What? They just had 4 interceptions, 27 sacks, as I mentioned, and they also forced 9 fumbles this season. Just a fun fact.
All right, listen, Titus is coming up with receipts.
Titus got the stats. Yeah.
He does. Listen, guys, thank you very much. We're going to step away for another quick commercial break, but don't go too far, because when we come back, we'll have the 3rd edition of Cam's Called It, and our field team has a special package from outside TD Garden. We'll be right back.
Box score really helped me a lot in my career. You know, I am a news producer at Pix 11, a station here in New York City, and I learned so much about what goes into putting together a show, especially a live one. You know, because even though I was the host, I was also, you know, sharing EP duties with Richard Fielko and a couple other great people. And it also taught me a lot about working with people and working as a team, because, you know, again, you can't do it alone, and you need the support of everyone around you. And you know, you're only as good as the people you work with. It really is true. And you know, I was grateful to have a really, really fantastic group of people, you know, working on the show with me.
There are people above us. Real assholes who use you mortals as tools to fuel their power. It's like a cosmic big dick contest.
Oh, God.
Yeah, these are those assholes I'm talking about. task force.
You just do what we do, but for heaven?
What if I help you bring souls up here? Like a ship with
Let me get this straight. You come in here, call me unoriginal. And yet, I built everything.
behind me, my troubles will be few.
This is my favorite crunch munchers. Come here, come here, come in. Make yourselves at home, you rascals. Right on in. Grim, get that marker out your nose.
You know what, Snaggy? You can hide in heaven with your stupid little halo all you want. But I know who you are and what you've done, and no amount of hiding can change that. Hey, Max, you okay? You're a good person.
I mean, to say the box score has changed since I hosted it last in the spring of 2018 would be an understatement. And how hasn't it changed? You know, that's really the question. I mean, what hasn't changed? You know, I think the box score at its core is just about people coming together and expressing their love of sports and giving their hot takes and you know, just having fun. And I think that's the heart of the show, and I think it shines through each season with each host, with each creative team, with you know, completely different people behind the scenes. That's what's been so great about the box score, is that there is no one definitive version of the show.
Welcome back to the box score. We've got our next NBA live score update. Currently, Celtics up against the Nets 59-56. The Grizzlies are up by 75-67. Magic up 75-67, and the Pistons up 63-50. Lots of 6-7 happening tonight, I think. But listen, we're going to head to the pinnacle of motorsport. As the Formula One championship is nearly decided, it's still so close. The Cams join me to update everyone on where we stand. But, Cams, how are we feeling about the love you two have been getting as a duo? Cam 1 and Cam 2, Cam's called it. What's going on?
Thank you, Noah. We've been getting a lot of love from people in the box score. Just the fact that we have our own segment, you know, like
we gotta start calling ourselves Cam Squared or something.
No, literally, like Cam brought it up like in pitch, and we were like, damn, that's a great name.
Chemistry off the charts.
Exactly.
Like, what can I say?
Immediately met, and it was just like, oh, twinning, you know.
So what happens when your name Cam? Best named ever.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. If you know, if Lando's name was Camdo Norris, maybe he'd already won the championship.
Camdo Norris.
I'm just saying.
You have a new quip every single episode, don't you?
It's easy when your name rhymes with so many things, Noah.
Okay, well, enough about you guys both being named the same name. Let's hear about F1.
Camila, why don't you start?
Okay, so unfortunately, we're just talking about this off camera. Unfortunately, to our disappointment, Oscar has been fumbling very, very badly. He has had the chance to be ahead of Lando multiple times in the past few races. He's either crashed, he has not had the best qualifying, he's let the opportunity slip away despite the fact that he's still in the best car, and unfortunately, Lando has not fumbled as he historically has. So he's kind of like slipped away from Oscar a little bit, and Max, as per usual, is still very much on the hunt for that
creeping up on the...
He's putting the pressure on.
Yeah.
I think we really saw it with this last Brazil race that there's a little bit of the fumbling from Oscar because he fell in the sprint due to the wet conditions, and that's understandable, but when you have the best car, you can't really be making these mistakes, and he acknowledged that, whereas Lando was perfect in the sprint. And in the race, he was perfect, and then Oscar had that incident with Kimi and Charles, which I don't think should have been a penalty. We were talking about this. Neither of us think it should be a penalty, but it's unfortunate because you can't really make those mistakes when you're trying to win the championship. And Max had a monster race. He started in the pits and climbed up to third.
Crazy.
He has been perfect, if not more
absolutely
perfect than Lando.
I mean, I guess like there also has to be the conversation that like I feel like Oscar's pace has kind of dropped off. Oscar just has not looked as fast or as consistent.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of the problem is as well, because you have to, on a track like Brazil that is primed for overtaking and you have the fastest car, you kind of got to put pedal to the metal. And then he was making mistakes with the curbs and the wet, and I think you can't really do that. But I don't know. Cam, what do you think about that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate here, and I'm going to say that Oscar might still have a chance to catch up.
I don't think so. I think
But there's,
it
okay,
pains me to say it's going to be Lando.
There's 83 points up for grabs. There's 3 races left. There's 1 more sprint. And there's only a 24-point gap between Oscar and Lando, you know, like there's a chance he wins and Lando DNFs, he's up ahead.
So the predictions have changed.
Yeah.
The predictions have changed is what I'm hearing.
Well, it's looking very much like Lando's championship for now.
It's
but
his to lose.
It is his to
lose.
Is there a chance Max comes back?
If they crash into each other.
If they crash into each other.
Well, that's what how likely is it that we get a Rosberg-Hamilton situation?
I was going to say, Rosberg-Hamilton once again, it could happen. You never know.
You never know.
Like,
especially on a track like Vegas, too.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I was about to say. You know, under the lights at Vegas, late at night, is there a chance that, you know, Lando slips up or Oscar slips up, they crash into each other, all of a sudden Max slips right through and he's taking away 25 points?
I guess we'll just have to wait and see
what happens
with the GP. Noah, back to you.
All right. All right, Cam and Cam, thank you very much. I'm ready to be up late for the race in Vegas. Going back to baseball, though, as we know now, the Dodgers have gone back-to-back in the World Series, and the discourse remains the same. Have the Dodgers ruined baseball? With me is Rico Brill and Camila Mancur. And Rico, I know you have a bit of a nuanced perspective on this as a Yankees fan who's not necessarily pro-spending.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan of a team who is one of the few teams who really does spend, I am a beneficiary of this. Having no cap means my team gets to be in the running every year.
Right.
And I'm against that because I'm a baseball fan first. I want every team to have a chance. Right now, the way we have it, the top teams, it is similar to international soccer, I've mentioned, how the top teams are always going to be the top teams. It's always going to be those top 4 teams. Now the Mets start to get in the mix, although they can't really put it together, even though they spend the money. But anyway, the way that you want a league is you want it to be switched up. And with all the other leagues that we have, the parity is there because there's a salary cap.
Right, and like with the international soccer example, I agree that these big teams, I mean, they're brands, just like the Dodgers or the Yankees. However, they still have stakes on the line because they have a relegation system.
Right.
When you have a system like Major League Baseball, there is no relegation system. You are there no matter what, so it's not incentivizing anyone.
You sell the team.
Well, exactly.
That's
why are you going to sell the team if you continue to make a profit?
Right. And even then, with international soccer, I feel like we see a lot more upsets. You know, like you hear sometimes like, oh yeah, like Real Madrid or Barca or the Premier League teams, they can get kicked out of like the tournaments. It happens sometimes. It's a thing. But with baseball, I feel like we see the same teams every year in the postseason because there's no parity, like you've said, because they can just spend all the amount of money they want and they're going to get all the big players.
Well, and I mean, the other problem as well is, I mean, you look at the Dodgers, they're able to spend on Yamamoto, they're able to spend on Mookie Betts, and so much of that is because of the backloaded Ohtani contract.
Right, and with that Japanese market, you're making $7 million an ad every time you see a Japanese ad on home plate.
Yes.
They have the entire Japanese market now. They're making so much money in returns. They can pay Shohei all they want.
Right.
Exactly, and all the Japanese players are now incentivized to go to the Dodgers because they're like, oh, Shohei's there, Yamamoto's there, you know. I want to go play with them. Right. So now they're all going to be like, I want to go to the Dodgers.
So did the Dodgers ruin baseball? I don't think so. I think they are the top team exploiting the system right now.
Okay.
And what this is going to lead to eventually, and a lot of people in baseball are nervous about this. I know people who are saying that their contracts are just going to go until 2027 because there's another meeting coming up between the teams and the players in 2027. All the teams, most teams want a salary cap. The players don't because who would want a cap on how much money you're going to make?
Exactly.
So we could get another lockout, and that could stop the season from happening or starting late in 2027.
Right.
It would be a disaster.
But is it the top players maybe that are anti-salary cap? Because you know the minor leaguers, the guys who are barely making it onto the team, their contracts are nothing like an Ohtani.
But it doesn't. There's nothing. Having a salary cap isn't going to benefit them.
But what a salary floor maybe?
Yeah, that would benefit them.
Yeah, that would benefit
So that's
them.
also been proposed, I know, a salary floor for these teams as well.
What do you think is the fix?
I think, I think like Rico said, it's not really the Dodgers' fault. It's the league's fault because there's nothing established to be able to prevent these teams from exploiting this like loophole in the system.
Right.
So something needs to be done about that for parity to be established.
And there's got to be a little bit of like blame to be put on Rob Manfred.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not just him. I mean, he's coming into a league that's just never had it.
Right.
So
exactly.
You can put the blame on him, but it's all the commissioners before. I think if you ask what the fix is, I think the league eventually does have to put their foot in the ground and say there's going to be a cap. They have to face the consequences of not doing it for so long. But I think that is the way around this issue.
Yeah.
Listen, we'll have to see. It's
We'll
going to be
see what
interesting for
happens.
sure. Salary floor, salary cap, potential lockout.
Potential lockout.
All right, thank you guys. Now, our field correspondents, Adelaide Brown and Emily Champagne, had the chance to go to TD Garden where they were able to find an interesting story. Take a look.
Thanks, Noah. We're here at TD Garden, and while it may be freezing out tonight, things are heating up ahead of tonight's matchup against the Grizzlies. We interviewed some fans right before the game. So, what's your hot take for tonight?
I expect us to do really well. I'm looking to beat Ja Morant. Hot take? I think the Celtics are going to end up winning like 50 or 60 games. I think they're going to do well, make the playoffs.
Who's your MVP of tonight?
Jaylen Brown.
Jaylen Brown, for sure.
I think Jaylen Brown's been the star.
He just takes it to the hole more than anybody else. You see every time he gets the ball, he can reliably just get it in every single time. The team trusts him, and you can see that for sure.
Hopefully Pritchard, maybe.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
I just got to parlay with him to make some threes. So.
If you're a coach, who are you benching tonight?
Ooh. I like Jordan Walsh, but we got to get Minot some more minutes back.
Luka Garza for the Celtics. He's not a rim protector, and I feel like we need rim protecting and rebounding the most. Grizzlies, I would bench probably half the team because they're not that good. So.
Any score predictions?
Maybe like 180 to 172.
Celtics up 120 to 100 against the Grizzlies. Celtics on top for sure.
Score prediction, it's going to be high. It's going to be like 122 to 110. I'm calling the Celtics by 9, so that's just what I'm calling. That's me, though.
Back to you guys at the studio.
Addie, Emily, thank you very much. Now, the WNBA looks more likely than ever to head towards a lockout, and that means that competing women's basketball leagues are trying to stake their claim. Except we're not talking about the unrivaled league. We're talking about a new Saudi-backed league called Project B. With me are Cam Veal and Olivia Holub. And guys, I can't help but think that this is being used as a leverage move, but how much leverage are they actually gaining?
Olivia, why don't you start?
Oh, man, that's a lot. I think they're gaining a decent amount of leverage because it just shows that if the WNBA doesn't lock in and get their ish together, they can go off and do something else.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's different from the other like overseas leagues we've seen before because I'll just like read off what I got. So right now, Project B has signed NECA, AT, and Jonquel Jones to be like their flagship first three. Founded by Facebook exec Grady Burnett and Sky co-founder Jeff Prentice, and it's partnered with Cello Entertainment, which is owned by the Saudi private investment fund. So they've tried to like distance themselves from saying that they're getting money.
They don't want the sports washing allegations. They don't want the sports washing,
but then again, you're directly partnering with this group that is owned by the private investment fund. They're aiming to offer 6 or 7-figure salaries and equity in the league for the players, which is great for the players, but then again, the money's coming. You want to kind of follow the money because it is an indirect collaboration with the Saudi Arabian Public Investment Fund. And I think that I can understand where the players are coming from, especially when you're being offered a $2 million salary off the rip. And equity in a league where the WNBA is refusing to pay you even like the TV package.
Yeah.
I can really understand where they're coming from. However, especially because the players in the WNBA position themselves as progressive and activist, I feel like it's not a good look for them, especially.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah, and it's really, I think it is a bit of leverage, but like at what point are you making a deal with the devil?
Interesting.
And at what point does it put the WNBA directly in jeopardy?
Well, and then Olivia, I do have a question for you because what happens, you know, the WNBA, they go into a lockout, they then negotiate a CBA, the players get what they want, the league gets what they want, they start playing again. What about these players who have now signed exclusive deals with these overseas leagues?
I think it'll become an issue because it's them pushing back on the WNBA, hey, you're not going to do this for us. We can just go off and do our own things.
Right.
And I think that creates pushback for these players. They're not going to get as highlighted. And these are big players. AT was a MVP like finalist, basically. Like, they're just going to they're not going to get as appreciated within the WNBA as they are now.
And do you think like maybe other players as well are not going to respect them? Because, you know, if I'm Breonna Stewart, for example, I've created Unrivaled to try and be this this competing leverage builder against the WNBA, but not direct competitor because it's not at the same time.
Well, it's interesting because this league, Project B, is going to run the same time as Unrivaled. So they're a direct competitor to Unrivaled. However, they're positioning themselves as a direct, comparable package to the WNBA because it's 5-on-5. They want to be in Europe and Asia, so it's an overseas league, similar to like the Turkish league, but there's not a lot of pedigree. And what they're actually doing is signing these older star players, right? I think they're kind of like, because the WNBA right now, these are players that have missed out on NIL. These are players that aren't big names, so they're not like Caitlin Clark, Paige Beckers, so they're not bringing in that kind of money anymore. So it's like they want to get their just desserts, basically, and they feel entitled to that, and that's not wrong. It's not a wrong perspective for them to have.
This is very much of the playbook of the Saudi Pro League for international soccer. You know, signing these old stars, Cristiano Ronaldo and N'Golo Kante.
It's exactly the same, and I think it could be leveraged, and I think the W needs to just buck up and pay their players what they're deserved.
And then this won't go on.
This won't go on. And I find it so interesting also because if you can find all these millions of dollars from investors to start a whole new league, why can't you just pay your players?
Yeah.
It is, I mean,
why can't they invest in the WNBA?
Right.
Yeah, exactly. And Kathy has to then put it upon herself to say, all right, when am I going to bring investors in?
Yeah, I think it puts a lot of pressure on Kathy. I just think it's super interesting too because I feel like the WNBA is such a close-knit community that I don't think Unrivaled and this Project B League are as big of competitors to each other because they talk. They must know that they're creating two different leagues.
Right.
So it's
You're saying that there's a little bit of backdoor dealing happening.
Yeah.
They're using this as a leverage ploy against Kathy, against the WNBA, saying if you don't pay us what you want or what we want, we have options. And we don't have to stay in the WNBA.
Yeah.
All right, listen guys, Cam, Olivia, thank you very much. We've got one more quick commercial break, but stick around because our correspondents will be making fun of my Brooklyn Nets and play a little game of should he stay or should he throw? We'll be right back.
If I could give one piece of advice to the future, leaders of the box score and everyone who works on the show, it is just to keep having fun, to realize that, to have this high-tech TV studio that you get to play in as a sandbox every time you go and put together a show is a really unique thing, a really special thing. It's something, while I still do sort of something like that in my current job, I miss it. I miss the box score. I miss that time. It was a very fun time, very special time for me. And I think everyone who worked on my seasons would agree. Never losing sight of the fact that the box score is a team, it is a family, and I think if you maintain that, which I think the previous seasons have all done a great job of doing, there's no reason why the box score can't just keep on going.
To get down, I'm not internationally known, but I'm known to rock the microphone because
All right, we're in our final block, which means that we're on our final live score update. Looking around the NBA, Celtics currently beating the Nets 62-61. Grizzlies are up 33-28 against the Spurs. Magic up 91 to the Warriors 82. And the Pistons, I have to say it one more time, Pistons 67, Hawks 54. Now, as we look at these scores from around the league, it leads us into a popular conversation to be having right now. Is the NBA experiencing an oversaturation of scoring? I mean, you see guys dropping 50 every night. Is it still special? Here to discuss is Olivia Holub, Zack Jewel, and Titus Graves. Olivia, I want you to get us started.
I think this overscoring is making the NBA not fun anymore. It's happening every single night. People are dropping 50 points, 70 points. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah. It's so boring to watch the same people just keep scoring. Like, I think this needs to get fixed, and I think the way to fix that is to start with better officiating.
Interesting.
Because the officiating, I think people are scared to play real defense, and I think real defense is the most entertaining part about the NBA, and it's gone.
You are giving the traditional old head take right
I
now.
I am.
Isn't the same.
Bring it back. Bring back good defense.
I don't know if I agree with the whole lack of defense point, because I think we're still seeing guys that are defensive specialists. Like, the all-defensive team is built off the best defenders in the NBA, and I think the best defenders in the NBA are arguably better than the best defenders in the NBA in the 90s, if you want to do the old head thing. I just think
not that old.
I just think that everyone is more talented, the defenders and the scorers, so I think that could be part of the reason that we're seeing more 50-point games, stuff like that.
I just feel like it's not the same. Like, bring back when Kevin Love was playing solid defense in the NBA Finals. I'm sorry.
So you're saying maybe even a decade or so ago that you weren't having guys dropping 50
The three-point shot is just so normalized now, and it's not as fun. Like, play good defense, make them drive to the paint.
I agree. I think it's a lot of three-point shooting, and it's not a lot of three-point shooting and layups. That's what I see a lot. But I also want to point out that there's not that many mid-rangers when y'all think about it.
Well, it's a low-efficiency shot.
Yeah,
it is.
The math that coaches are looking at, obviously, it's not going to get you those points per shot.
Yeah, but I feel like Shea right here, mid-range shot. I feel like those players can also just get to that spot, drop. I used to play basketball, so I kind of have a little bit of knowledge. But when you drop to the paint, all you do is just got to stop your defender and just shoot it. But that's when you think about it. You got Kyrie, Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan, Kobe. Those are the players that would do that and would make that change and score in the mid-range. So I think NBA scoring, it can be a little bit more of mid-ranging. I do see a lot of three-pointers. I think they should at least try to stop that. And I also think defense.
How do they do that? Do they move the three-point line back? Do they add a 4-point line?
That's going to make it worse.
Play defense beyond the three.
I agree with defense.
I agree with defense. I understand the whole you want to see more mid-range shots, but the mid-range shot is dead for a reason.
Then why have a mid-range shot in the first place? Then would you only have three-pointers?
You can't take out.
A mid-range fade is so good. I think it's so much.
But this is a nostalgia take. To Zach's point, you are bringing up the take of, it was just nicer to watch when guys were shooting.
I think it's more entertaining.
The math of three-point shots and layups.
But then how do you make it more entertaining?
You need more players to shoot it. You look at Shea, look at Kobe. Those players are entertaining.
But Shea, I mean, you're talking.
The least entertaining
I was going to say, you're talking about better officiating.
I'm talking about
You're talking about Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
I'm talking about better officiating because these refs are calling everything, so people don't want to play real defense.
You're saying bring back the hand check.
Yes, let people get
I can agree with that.
I can agree on that too.
Okay.
Then people will stop shooting. They're not going to be open.
Oh, okay. I see it. Maybe we should write a mean-worded letter to Adam Silver or something.
Don't worry.
You're I've already done it before.
I'm prepping.
You've had it locked and loaded into mind.
Adam Silver and Kathy are hearing from me.
Listen, from the highs of the NBA to the lowest of lows, the Brooklyn Nets are bad. Really bad. And for a team that had 5 first-round picks in this year's draft, that's bad. With me to talk about just how bad the situation is in Brooklyn, other than the return of their Cougie jerseys, shout out Rodion's Kuruks, is Rico Brill, Titus Graves, and Zack Jewel. Rico, what is happening?
It's been really, really, really tough. This is another team that I happen to be a fan of, so it's a lucky day for me. But also not lucky because the two teams I get to talk about are the Giants and the Nets. So we see the Nets are 2-11. As you mentioned, they took 5 rookies this year in the first round, most out of any team. And 3 out of 5 of those rookies are not even on the active roster right now. That sums up about as much as I can say. They've been going up and down from the G League. Their first overall pick, Igor Yeoman, is shooting 37% from the floor as it stands. Their leading assister is their big man, Nicholas Claxton, who, no offense to Claxton, is not the shiniest offensive player. He's only averaging 3.9 assists a game, so not a team that's passing the ball, and they've won 2 games.
Well, exactly what you're saying. They're not a team that has passed the ball, but we're seeing these 2 guys right here, and you can't argue that watching Michael Porter Jr. and Cam Thomas play basketball isn't entertaining.
It's not entertaining. That's the problem. I can't watch Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. put up 60 combined shots and pass the ball 3 times during the entire game.
Now, it's not winning basketball like you're saying, Noah. However,
winning basketball is fun basketball. Losing basketball is not fun basketball.
The big 3 of Nicholas Claxton, Michael Porter Jr., and Cam Thomas is not that bad, I don't think. I think if they had more depth, and, like Rico was saying, if they hit on those first-round draft picks, obviously it's very early, but if
but I mean, if 3 out of your 5 first-round draft picks are going up and down on 2-way contracts from the G League, what are we doing at this point with, Sean Marks, our general manager?
Right, you don't have the depth. Why not use the players that you drafted? You have literally nothing to lose. You're not winning the games anyway. They just beat the Wizards, which I think is funny because that was the other really bad team that we had talked about. But you mentioned Sean Marks. From the time Sean Marks has come over, he's gone from one of what to be known as the best GM in the NBA when they got the triple head monster with Kyrie, KD, and Harden. And now, since then, pure back down to where they started with when he had to inherit the Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce team. It has been a miserable series of years for the Nets, and I think it's his time to go.
Well, and then Titus, I know you have an interesting take on this as well.
Yeah, I agree. What Rico is saying, it's the experience. Even the coach literally said it. It's the lack of experience. They drafted so many rookies that you don't have those people. You don't have those many players that have experience.
But I mean,
that could play make, that could score.
Who are the vets?
It's really bad. I literally have a
Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. are your veteran
presidents.
Claxton's probably the oldest tenured.
That's what I mean. But Nicholas Claxton is leading the team in assists. You're supposed to be your starting center.
And a defensive first player.
I mean, right, exactly. Nicholas Claxton, for years now, 3-4 years, has been in Defensive Player of the Year conversations, or at least nominated or up in those types of talks, defensive all-team. That man cannot be your facilitator on offense.
I agree. I just think they may need to rebuild, figure it out.
Rebuild on what, though?
You're rebuilding and you have 5 first-round picks. And
exactly. You missed on all of them.
You missed on all of them. It's kind of difficult right now.
It is difficult. I don't really know what else to say. I mean,
they're supposed to be rebuilding right now. Yeah.
Really is there a solution? I mean, is it fire Sean Marks?
Yes, start with that.
Probably.
Sean Marks has to go then. You're starting from complete scratch.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's your solution?
Yes.
Cam Thomas probably has to go too. I think he's shooting the ball a little.
I mean, they signed him to what, a 1-year extension? No one wanted to pay him.
I think they kind of knew that he wasn't going to be in a long-term solution.
Can't play defense also.
Yeah, and their defense was really bad. They allowed actually 130-plus points per game early this season. That's just terrible coming from an NBA team.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. Or no thank you. I don't really know how to feel about everyone ragging on the Nets. But regardless, we've reached our final segment, and it's an old game of should they stay or should they throw. I'm going to name a quarterback, and our correspondents are going to debate whether their teams should stick with them or throw them away. I'm joined by Everest Leach, Camila Mancur, and Rico Brill. Let's start with Tua.
I can go first on Tua. It's a little story time. Just the other day, I was scrolling through some. You guys know those Sporkle quizzes where they have you got to get a bunch of answers.
To do in class.
Doing some NBA ones of those. Came across this guy. His name's Paul Arizin. Used to play for the Golden State Warriors. He's a Hall of Famer. Never heard of him. They called him on his Basketball Reference Pitchin' Paul. That was his name.
Pitchin' Paul.
Pitchin' Paul. The Dolphins might want to consider pitching Tua. I think it's been too long at this point, and it's not even. If he can still play well for stretches, I think he can. We've seen a couple of games this season. He's picked it up a little bit, but we know he can't play in weather. He's not a ceiling raiser. The arm strength, the intangibles, the injury, the health, it's just not there. It's time to move on. And you might say, well, there's a cap problem. He has such a massive contract. The Broncos got off of Russell Wilson, and within 2 years, they're maybe the #1 seed in the AFC.
And they've been very successful.
Yeah, I think he's got to go.
Although I was saying this to Zach actually before the episode, I said The Broncos are like if the Zach Wilson Jets actually started winning games.
They are. We'll see how they fare
But
down.
I think that the point you're making is valid. So you're saying it's time to move on from the Tua experiment.
I think so. Even if it might be tough, you just got to do it.
I mean, the processing speed isn't there. The decision making isn't there. Yeah. Like you said, the arm talent has never been there. He's never been a ceiling raiser.
Yeah.
He's a game manager and probably a career backup for the rest of his career if he decides to play. I mean, even again, like 3 years ago, we were talking about whether he should even be an NFL player anymore because of all those concussions.
With the concussions, yeah. And it feels like it's the same story every year with him.
Yeah. Okay. We're gonna move on.
Okay.
I feel like you're already like ready. It's on the tip
I'm ready.
of your tongue.
I'm ready.
You wanna, like,
I got it. I got
you
it.
can announce it yourself. I mean.
I got it. So I want to talk about Geno Smith, guys.
Oh no.
So Geno has to go. I'm so sorry. The Seattle thing was an experiment that went well. It's not happening in Vegas. He's been a turnover machine.
The gamble hasn't paid off.
The gamble
has
not paid off in Vegas.
More interceptions than touchdowns is a crazy stat.
13-12. Not great.
That's ugly. That's ugly.
I think it's 13. I think it's worse. Because he threw I think another one in the Cowboys game.
That's
okay. Then it just got worse. There we go. But it's I mean, it's just you got to move on. I mean, he has to take a more of a veteran role at this point than starting QB.
You know what I think about Geno? Not every great story has to be Harry Potter or War and Peace, where it's 1,000 pages long. Sometimes you get the nice little story and then it's over. That was Seattle for Geno.
I completely
you got to move
agree
on.
with what you just said. Geno Smith's his little stint of excellence reminds me a lot of Ryan Tannehill per se.
Sure.
A few years ago.
That makes sense. Yeah.
One of these guys who.
What is happening? We're talking about short stories and fables. Where did we go? What show is this?
We're talking about short stories and
box
fables
score
because
is now
that's what Geno Smith is going to be.
I just think the time is over. And
he didn't write back. He didn't write back.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It was incredible that he got to come back to that point. But before his time with Seattle, he was that backup guy who was completely forgotten. I think it's kind of time for that.
Yeah, I agree. The only problem with Geno is that they get rid of him. What are they going to do? Are they going to draft? But the problem is right now, you could get Dante Moore, but that's not guaranteed.
Right.
And if you don't get him, what are you going to get? You're going to get Sellers, Nussmeier. Are those really going to be good options for the Raiders?
I
So
think it's a problem a lot of teams face right now.
Yes, exactly. I mean, Jets are in the same boat. I mean, do you bet your future on Dante Moore if you miss out on Mendoza or Simpson?
Exactly.
yeah.
We've got one more quarterback, Rico. He goes by the name of Bryce Young. This was a controversial one when this was first brought up.
Yeah, Bryce Young has got to stay.
I agree.
I agree.
If you were to ask me before this year, I would have said go. He has brought the.
What has he actually done this year
Well,
to change your
He's
mind?
leading a bad roster.
better.
He
team.
Yeah.
played really well throughout the second stretch of last
He's above
season.
500.
So
He's above 500.
So your argument is that he
Barely,
played well
bro.
before?
He played
That's a
well
good thing.
before, but even that, it was like he needs to take another step. I
how
don't
about-
think there's any
I
argument
think he
he's
has
taken
taken that step.
next
I do.
step
He's leading a team to a winning record who's been horrible after
And
the
then
last
how about 2
years.
games ago? I mean, he had 400 yards.
His
I mean,
last game, against
it was ridiculous.
4 touchdowns. I think he's
Really good game.
putting it together.
Unbelievable
He's
game.
showing why he was picked first overall and not a bust necessarily. I view it kind of similar to like Baker Mayfield.
I just think he can stay for now, but the Panthers should be looking to upgrade.
See, I don't
is where I'm
understand
at
that.
on it.
I don't agree with
He's
that.
consistently improving.
I think what the Panthers
Slowly, and I just don't know if he has the ceiling to what is his ceiling?
A first-round pick. I mean, you see the ceiling there. He's a mobile quarterback who's got great arm talent. It's like everything you want.
I
The
think
height is the
I
only
hate to
thing.
say I think he's too small, dude.
Okay, I could hear that.
That's a valid
I don't
point.
know.
I
I
think
just
the
don't know if he's ever gonna fully get there. I think, like I said, right now he's okay. That game the other day was awesome.
Yeah.
He played fantastic, but that's his best game ever. Maybe we've had a solid sample size so far. I'm
Okay,
not
but
seeing.
you know what? If you want to make the comparison, look at C.J. Stroud. C.J. Stroud didn't play great last season.
Sure.
You know, Bryce Young towards the
Made the
second half.
playoffs though. Won a playoff
Okay,
game.
second half of last season, Bryce Young was statistically by far a better quarterback. One of the better quarterbacks in the NFL, I would say, in the second half of last season. Start of this season, got off to a little bit of a rocky start, has really started to piece it together.
Yeah.
turn it around.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm a fan. I like the kid.
I like Bryce
I'm
Young.
rooting for him. I just don't know if he's ever going to get there. I'm sorry.
We'll see what happens.
I don't know if
We
I
will
can
see.
agree. Listen, that's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for watching episode 3. But we've got some big news for you. This week is a doubleheader. That's right. We'll be right back here on Friday at the same time, so get your popcorn ready. We've got weekend box score action. I'm your host, Noah Berkowitz. Good night. I don't know, huh?